Fly, fly, oh to be a fly. Fly, fly, come and be a fly on the wall.
Yes! Hello there. Our house is a mess. Come on in. Welcome to Fly on the Wallin, a show where two losers who found love on the internet are coming together to share our stories of dating, parenting, and what happens when you record all of that for the world to see. This is the reboot. God, isn't that song great?
Yeah, it's a great song. I was also going to say two losers coming together to share their losses.
Oh, I like that. Okay, we're gonna make a point of changing it every single week. How about that?
That was a great intro.
Two losers who are sharing their losses. I love it. Our theme song is actually written by a dear friend of ours. She supports us with our baby. She babysits for us sometimes, but she's also an incredible singer. Her name is Limo, and I was like, hey, how would you feel about writing us a theme show song? There's a longer version of this that Ben is like, Amber, I would not let you play that whole thing at the top of the show. But I think we should.
It's about a minute long. We can barely, I think the average listening time to the Sci-Fi Side podcast was like 5 minutes. So
crying on that because we ran it for a couple of years. But anyway, that's okay. Well, I will at least drop the full song somewhere for the internet to enjoy. Before we get started, we always want to celebrate patrons, aka the Country Club. Pew, pew, pew. Thank you so much to those of you who have been supporting us on Patreon, and we've been getting rave reviews from the documentary we dropped there, We're Pregnant and Other Lies. Well, I haven't been getting those reviews from film festivals. I submitted to 12 film festivals, and I got my rejection number one, baby. I feel okay about that. Now,
you're supposed to be rejected like a bunch,
right?
Like, even with writers, if you don't have like 100 rejection letters, it means you're not submitting enough.
Correct.
So,
now, if I get 12 rejections, we'll have a glass of wine.
I would not
for
be
that.
surprised if you got 12 as well, because it just accept the rejection. It's part of it. This is a show about loss,
right,
and love.
Well, I still feel like we made something beautiful, and if one of those fucking film festivals don't accept me, I will be, considering myself to be nothing. Anyway, we want to get started with the show. We have 4 very exciting segments coming y'all's way. The first segment is called #Influenced, because we kind of consider ourselves influencers, right?
Influencers in the house, yeah.
What is an influencer to you, Ben?
It's someone who wears a watch and nice clothes and has nice titties. That's an influencer. And then, or like nice pecs.
Got it.
That's like the stereotype of an influencer. And guess what? Amber and I fit both of those. She's got the nice pecs and I got the nice titties.
I love going to parties in LA and then they're like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm an influencer. And you can see them look up and down and be like, really?
You don't
Are you sure?
The sheath for my knife that I thought was the influencer.
Oh, wait,
knife.
What?
Like everyone has like a
knife?
A preconception, the knife, and then you are the sheath at that point, and their knife didn't fit in the sheath of what they preconceived. I'm not going to work on my metaphor. I'm going to work on my metaphors. Right. Okay.
Well,
so let's get on influenced, because I want to break some news to you, Amber, about relating to an influencer, actually.
This is not
Hannah
Shea
from Bling Empire.
Anna Shea, man. Anna Shea.
She died today.
I know. I think she died yesterday.
Oh, yeah. You already knew that?
Yes, I knew that.
Oh, man. I wanted to surprise you with some traumatic information.
Surprise me? That's super sad.
Why did you tell me? I watched her name.
You didn't watch it. You hate watched it. It's standing in front of the TV
I love
screen.
hate watching.
For those of you who have no clue what we're talking about, Anna Shea is kind of like one of the main characters on a pretty big show called Bling Empire on Netflix. It's basically like Crazy Rich Asians, but a reality TV version. And Anna Shea was like an icon, like great one-liners. Like I remember one time she was in a fight with somebody and she was like, can we get on with this? I'm incredibly bored. Like, you are so incredibly boring, which is so funny to say that as somebody is like emotionally pouring their heart out to you. Like, please do not say that the next time we're in a fight. But if we are in
That's literally how I feel every time we're in a fight. Every time we're in a fight, I'm just like,
Incredibly bored.
This is so boring. Like, why are we having this fight over nothing?
Well, thank you for sharing that news with me that everybody already knew, Ben. Just know, I have my pulse on the internet. I spend a lot of time on my phone. Speaking of things that happened on the internet. So Ben and I just came back from Paris, which we had a completely incredible time. If you were watching us on social media in Paris, the experience was actually better than the videos, I have to say. We had such a great time. And we shared one video on TikTok and on Instagram of our child just cutting a fool on the plane. Like we flew 8 hours from Paris to New York, and then additional 5 hours from New York back to LA. And so while it was just kicking, screaming, trying to run down the aisle, she's getting bigger. And so on some of the comments on those videos, I saw people saying like, "Don't let Chica see this." Do you remember seeing some of those?
I did not. I did not see those comments.
I saw at least 3 or 4 that said that. And I remember thinking like, I don't know what people are talking about. Like, what is this going on? And then it's so funny because I just picked on you for not having your fingers on the pulse, but you actually delivered this information to me.
I delivered it to you.
So what happened, Ben? Break it down.
So basically, Chica goes into first class and
wait. Explain who Chica is.
Oh, Chica! I'm sure
a lot of people don't know. Actually,
if you found us on the internet, then you probably know who Chica.
Right,
is.
But just in case they don't,
in case you don't, Chica is a rapper who became famous very, very quickly. Great, like started from the bottom. Now we hear kind of story. She was like working, I think, at a sandwich shop. And went from, making sandwiches to now like showing up at parties.
What else could she have been doing at that sandwich shop?
I don't know. She could be sweeping the floors or making sure other people are making sandwiches.
Got it.
So she's a rapper. She starred in the movie. Well, it was one of the characters in the TV show or the film. I think it was like Power or something. Project Power, thank you. Mm-hmm. And so, up and come up, but definitely struggled with mental health and decided to retire early, even though she's like 24 or 25 now. But she became really popular maybe about 3-4 years ago when she was, still in her early 20s.
Yeah, we even watched her Tiny Desk. It's a vibe. I love her music.
It's like spoken word rap, very thoughtful, poetic, etc. So she goes into first class. I think she's sort of making a comeback as far as making music. I saw her at like one of the Amazon shows you did. I think it was like Meg Thee Stallion's show. So she's sort of coming out more in public. And she goes into first class and there are like 2 kids there crying. And she thinks it's a good idea to go on Twitter and write a pretty aggressive, violent tweet about the, presumed mother who's caring for these 2 kids in first class. She posts this on Twitter and...
Oh, I have it here. Can I read it?
Yeah, Amber's going to read it.
Since we're talking, this is our hashtag influence segment, so we got to talk about the internet. Okay, for those of you who did not see this tweet that has since been deleted, it says, "The lady next to me who thought it would be a good idea to buy yourself and your twin infants first class seats on a red-eye flight, who just woke me up by bringing your screaming bastard to our seats to soothe her. I just bought $34 Wi-Fi at 4 a.m. to call you a stupid bitch. P.S. I hate you and I hope you get a paper cut between each of your fingers tomorrow, you senseless wench."
So here's the thing. I've been thinking about this a lot, is that I've had thoughts about that, maybe towards Amber, maybe towards other people, of that like level of aggression or annoyance. But that's what they are. They're just thoughts, and they rise out of nowhere and you let them pass. But there's something about this generation where you're like, I've had this thought and it's not real until I post about it, right?
Yeah, we got to get back to just posting things in the group chat, like the family group chat, the cousin group chat, the friend group chat. Group me is great. Well, here's the thing about it though, Ben, because you want to share the other part of this story?
Oh yeah. Plot twist. Those babies had more fame than Chica. I guess those babies' grandparents. So I think the daughter of one of the mothers was actually Tiny and T.I.'s daughter. So the grandbaby. So Chica was talking about T.I. and Tiny's grandbaby.
Yes, Zanique is their mother. Here's the thing about it. And be fucking for real. Do you think that Chica's tweets would have landed had it never been revealed whose kids they were? I think people would have laughed.
Yeah.
I mean, some people would have been like, wow, calling kids like bastards and stupid bitches, or calling a mom a stupid bitch is crazy, but like, we've all been annoyed. I actually, I know, call me crazy, and I'm not saying what Chica said is correct. I agree with Ben. We've all had a bad day, and we should have just texted our friend that.
We should not text at all. We shouldn't post in the group chat. We should just
You
some
can
of those
post in the
thoughts.
group chat.
No, because someone can read over your shoulder and look at it and read it as well.
Yeah, but I do think that people are more
trail.
forgiving of a leaked group chat than they are of a public tweet.
I disagree.
I mean,
Hardcore.
If you're just name calling, not if you're like laundering money and
no, I'm saying
people.
like, you know, like those private conversations in LA where the people, the four politicians were being racist.
That's what I said. Like, not when it's something like racism, but I definitely think if her tweets were leaked because somebody took it over her shoulder and violated her privacy, that would be the discussion.
I disagree. I think the flash or whatever, the flashbang, the grenade would still go off.
Because this wasn't racism or one of the, it wasn't like a huge
It was
social
still like
ill.
mean. Like these are the kind of thoughts you just don't let anybody know.
It was mean, but I have definite, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like the internet and Twitter and whatever has not been a great space for people to just like rant and vent and whatever, So
I
like,
think it's the worst place to rant.
No, we do a good job of like, let's keep it about our family and comedy and whatever. But a lot of people get on the internet and complain about like ex bitch, a senseless bitch at their job, and we rarely hear from the senseless bitch. Yeah,
but I think we rarely hear from it. But I think even just posting about your coworkers, I think it's a terrible idea. I'm
not saying it's a good idea. I'm saying I genuinely think if it was never revealed whose babies these were, this would not be a headline.
Well, it sort of depends, right?
Okay.
It depends. I think like it could have been or it could not have been. I think it makes it a headline because of whose baby it is.
Right. That's what I'm
like.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah. Well, I think either it could have. It was a coin toss.
Got it.
If we didn't know whose kid it was, but I think we definitely were going to know because of whose kid it was. So it still could have gone in terrible for Chica if we didn't know whose kid it was. I mean, it is a pretty like aggressive, terrible
it's very
tweet.
aggressive. Especially like, I don't know, the word wench just has such racial.
Yeah.
It's a racially charged word. Like, because that's literally what black women were called like on auction blocks. So the word wench is just kind of like, ugh, like I would almost rather someone call me a stupid bitch than a senseless wench.
It's
to
like
be fair, that is a bar, by the way. If you read right there, but because when you first read it to me, Ben told me the story and just told me Chica's part. So Ben read it to me. I laughed. I was like, damn, that was harsh as fuck, but like, whatever, comedy. And then you told me whose kids it was. I was like, oh yeah, this is bad.
And she was 100% not being comedic. I think like there's a way you could make fun of like stupid parents for bringing their, kids into first class, blah, blah, blah. Like there's a way you could have made this funny, but no, Chica was like actually angry and upset about this.
Yeah. And also there was a TikTok that went viral a couple of weeks ago of this like angry man at a baby on the flight. Yeah. And so I think Ty goes to Ty goes to the mom like when things like this happen. I know that there is obviously like tons of mom shaming and unsolicited advice and things like that on the internet, but I think more people, because a lot of people are parents, are always going to side with the mother, be like, she's trying, you don't know so-and-so's situation.
Yeah. And I have no idea. I feel like I have read lots of comments on those kinds of videos where people are like, why would you take your baby flying? Like, don't fly,
Yeah, they gotta, I mean, people commented that on ours. They're like, I would hate to be sitting by you. I was like, but you're not. Like, I don't, like, babies.
You're not flying.
Even before I had a baby, like, babies exist on every fucking flight. Like,
it doesn't bother me.
Like, just hit the headphones. Like,
I feel like this is an ongoing conversation, though,
Yeah.
within, like, this social media world where like, do you bring a baby on a flight? And so we occasionally see these videos pop up where like someone's yelling at a kid because the kid's crying, or
and also Zanique, poor baby, she looks even more sort of not that there's like an angel and devil, but she looks way more angelic because she keeps being like, she keeps coming forward being like, you know, I'm a mother of 2. I'm currently pregnant. I'm doing the best that I can. I really thought that booking a red-eye flight would mean they would be asleep during that time. I'm doing my best as a mother of twins. So obviously, like, the internet's like, oh,
Yeah, Chica,
you know,
Chica,
which
you,
I mean,
you lost this round, and
gosh, but Ben, at what point, you know, because this has happened to us, and not to this magnitude, obviously, because Chica's like a Grammy nominated artist, but at what point do you just like I keep seeing people just doubling down.
oh yeah, because I think someone like Chica got some backlash and then responded again being like, no, I was right, like I don't care.
Because then what happened, like it when Chica, a dark skinned like fat black rapper, does something like this, the internet's like, nobody even knows you fat bitch. Like, yeah, then that's when you get in defense mode.
Enter the fat shaming,
yes,
the fat phobia, all of that.
Which is all just as bad as calling a mom a name or whatever.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. There needs to be some sort of rule, some sort of cultural acceptance or cultural expectation where you post something really stupid and you got like 48 hours to delete it, and then then we can pretend it never exists. I've heard this this idea floated around before because people lose jobs over like a tweet that they post. Like even there was like this young woman, this white woman, she gets her license and she's like, I can drive, and then insert N-word there, and because of that she ended up like losing her scholarship. She was going to be a cheerleader, right? There was the young woman, Palestinian. She posted something anti-Semitic, and her dad's business went under, right? Yeah. So like, you're like, okay,
where can we reach? Yeah.
These people do these stupid things because they're kids, and kids are dumb, and white kids from the suburbs do dumb shit. And people are like, these are consequences. I'm like, is it a consequence for using an inappropriate word that you lose your entire scholarship? Is it a consequence that you say an anti-Semitic thing and your dad's business does that match the crime? So Chica does this dumb shit, and now
she's
not getting
super young though. She's like, I don't know. Keep going.
You should look up
I know what you mean though, Ben. I know what you mean.
So Chica says this ridiculous thing, and the consequence is the punishment we as a society, I think it's appropriate to, dish out to her, I think are absolutely absurd. Yeah. Like she doesn't deserve. Yeah, what she said was incredibly stupid.
She's 26 for the record.
She's 26, so that's still pretty young. And she got famous like 5 years ago when she was 21. So she's still learning this stuff. Here's my thing. I think there's a larger problem here. One, we dish out punishments for social media mishaps in a way that does not fit the actual crime.
Right, but it's like it's its own justice system.
Yeah,
in a way stupid. That like it's super harmful.
It's anarchical.
It's anarchy.
It's anarchy, the justice system. No, and some people do dumb stuff and get away with it, and other people do dumb stuff and get away with it. It just depends how viral the situation goes.
Yeah.
So like there are kids who post Snapchats saying the N-word and they don't lose their scholarships. So it's not evenly meted out.
I know, but I think in Chica's case specifically, I hear what you're saying with kids, but I do think in Chica's case specifically, if she kind of lets it die the rest of the week and then, drops another album in a couple months, like she can bounce back from this.
Yeah, depends. I don't know. There are some people who do. The time hasn't passed enough, and then some people who don't. There are literally people who've done these kinds of things and they don't bounce back. Right?
Yeah, but I
canceled.
Think like
so canceling does have. To your point, canceling does have a length, right?
It depends. It depends on what the crime was too. Like Chica called somebody the B word. Like in the grand scheme of things, called a mom of twins who's doing her best the B word, which is fucked up, but like she didn't,
Well, the doubling down gets even worse. There's even more. There's like more. You can go in a rabbit hole, and you as a listener can mete out your own judgment. But that's the first problem is that we don't give people punishment appropriate. I think the fat shaming as a response to this is entirely inappropriate. The second issue is that I think younger people like Chica who is, early Gen Z will have a thought and they will post their entire thoughts online. Like there's not this understanding that some thoughts should not be shared with anyone, right? It's a fleeting thought. Like you have a thought of like walking by and kicking a puppy or punching someone in the face, right? These are some sort of random aggressive thoughts for whatever reason. They float in our mind and you let them go, right? Not saying I ever want to punch someone randomly on the street or kick a puppy. I love puppies. But the point is that some thoughts should not be known to anybody but yourself. Except I'm discovering more and more that younger people think that their thoughts are not real or don't have meaning unless they're validated within a social media setting.
I don't think that's unique to younger people. I don't think that's unique to younger people.
But I think it's probably just more of the advent of social media. But I do know
social media.
Gen Z posts way more than older people. So now it's only going to get worse.
I think it just depends on the platform. Because the old school has taken over Facebook.
I'm saying Gen Z are higher users in general than like the older.
Of course.
They grew up with the technology. They're able to access it. And that this technology is not a journal, right? There was a comment to this. It's like, Chica, don't you have a journal somewhere?
A diary,
like,
right?
Diary, write this in a diary.
But it all
That's
blurs.
Okay.
It does blur sometimes. We're as you know, this segment is called #influence because we're chronic oversharers and. There have been, I'm sure, times in the past where I'm like, we shouldn't have posted this, or this is a little too much, or whatever. So it's like,
or I'll edit a video like I'm not posting that. No.
But you get so caught up in it because it's like you're feeding the beast a lot. And I think, I was telling Ben, we do our absolute best not to read negative comments, but sometimes like when you're about to post something, you just see an influx of just like negativity, like unnecessary negativity as well. Like I'll do like a get ready with me and people will be like, I hate that fucking jacket. She looks huge. You're kind of just like, this is an indoor thought, friend. Like, what is it? Why? I told Ben my new thing now is when I see a negative comment, I literally try my absolute best to give a stranger a compliment in person for every negative comment I see. Remember that one night I was in France just complimenting every person I saw on the street. Like, oh, come on, Scarf. Yeah. Let's get it, elbows. Oh, what did you order tonight? Escargot? Delicious.
She's like I gotta make myself feel better. Compliment other people.
I feel like it balances out the universe a little bit because like, people would never say the things that they say about me to my face in real life. Because you just don't do that. You don't go up to a stranger and say, I hate everything about your look, right down to the fucking jacket, you whore. But on the internet, people do that. Well, and if you are somebody...
They're definitely bolder, right? That fence, that
right.
shield that protects people, that, anonymity.
Right. That part. Anyway, that is our #influence section. Let us know what you... I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say, I like that we're ending on a positive note. So I'm going to suggest to everybody...
Were we ending or did...
Yeah, I'm going to suggest when you get a negative comment, for even, in person or on, your Facebook post or whatever, just go and compliment 3 other people. Right?
Listen, complimenting people in person is so magical. And it's not fake. I mean, if I like somebody's shoes, I'm going to tell them. So I think we forget how good that feels when a stranger just says like, girl, you are... I literally saw one woman just walking the streets of Paris and I was like, girl, you are a goddess. That's it.
Yep. That's all it needed to be.
It just feels good. So if I see you on the street...
How do you say that in French?
If I see you on the street and I give you a compliment, know that that's because people destroyed me that day or Ben or whatever. But anyway, that wraps our #influenced segment. You out there, let us know what you think on the Chica debate. Should she be given grace? She's 26. She's a rapper. She's a child of the internet. And we've all been woken up by a screaming baby that wasn't ours. Or are you like, nah, fuck that. Find a diary. Let us know what you think. Our next segment is called Imperfect Parent. Ben, why don't you explain what this segment is about?
So we're just going to talk about our parenting woes.
Yes.
And, woes. That's it. We're not going to talk about the positive side of parenting. It's just going to be all negative. So yeah, Wild is really into head banging now, and I'm not talking about like head banging music. She is banging her head, and it's a little scary.
Yeah, like on glass, like a glass
or
door,
on a remote. She'll
on the bed frame,
or she'll like lean down and just like, bam, bam, just on the floor.
She'll headbutt you. Yeah,
a book.
For those of you who might be new to us and to this show, obviously, we have a 1-year-old daughter named Wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might be new. You know.
Yeah, you could be new.
I'm manifesting getting new listeners. So I want to contextualize everything. Yes, we have a 1-year-old and she is headbanging. And we've been doing a little bit of research on and she's been hitting.
That's smacking. So I've been taking her hand and like rubbing it against my face and being like, gentle, gentle. And then she actually will mimic and do gentle, gentle. But we were looking, why is she doing this? And what were some of the reasons of why she does this?
Okay, I looked up this Healthline article. And again, we're new parents. That's what this segment's all about. So we'd love to hear from y'all out there as well. Okay, so one thing from Headline says, toddlers may hit others due to their lack of impulse control. So why do they do this? They're testing the limits. They haven't developed self-control. They don't understand that it's bad. They don't know how to process their feelings, which is really difficult for me because obviously before we decide to have a baby, we really decided that we're gonna gentle parent and we're not gonna hit our kid. And I know, all of the Black elders out there are like, but Ben sat me down and we read Bell Hooks' All About Love, which sort of taught me that love cannot be taught with violence. So I told him before we had a kid, I would vow not to, physically hit them in that way. So it's really hard for me not to just like hit her back and be like, see, it hurts, right? Okay, so what are we actually doing?
Wait, that's hard for you? You have to restrain?
Well, because not like that. It's just saying like sometimes, okay, for example, like if this is not like that, Ben. What I'm trying to say like is, for example, one time my brother bit my mom when he was a kid. And so my mom just like, playfully bit him back and he didn't like that. So he's like, oh, I'm understanding now why.
This isn't.
Oh, this hurts. I should stop it. So I'm imperfect. So I definitely will admit that as Wild has been hitting me, I want to one time be like, that hurts, right? Like not slap her, but but what are we doing so I can try to be consistent?
As far as the hitting. Oh, so a couple of things. If she's banging her head, it could be a plug for attention. So like give them attention is one way. It could also be a stimulant, a way of like stimulate them. So then pick them up, start doing something with them. So those are like two things that I've been doing and they've been working pretty well. When I see her hitting, I'm like, okay, let's do something together. Let's read a book. Let's actually, be active together. And so give her attention, give her stimulation that doesn't involve, punching or hitting.
But she hit me first. I'm just kidding. Yeah. This article says, what should you do when your toddler hits? Restrain them physically, which can kind of feel a little violent, but like
in a bear hug.
My mom just said, just hold her hand.
Just hold her.
It says remove your child from the situation, which is what you just talked about. It's like, oh, if she's doing this in this room, maybe move her to another room. This one says discuss alternatives.
Yeah, I think you found like one for like 3-4-year-olds.
I know.
That one won't work.
It says, when a friend of theirs grabs a toy they wanted, what are other possible reactions they could have instead of hitting? Make sure you're modeling behaviors like speaking up, walking away, or telling an adult about problems. It's a little bit older. Okay. Redirect. Provide emotional support. See, well, maybe Wild also, because, you and I like to play around in the house a lot. Mm-hmm. Like we'll accidentally, we'll playfully push each other or I'll slap your butt or something. Do you think she's just honestly getting this from us?
Probably. Sounds about right.
I mean, you don't slap me in the face.
I don't.
Unless I want it.
No, I don't slap you.
Not I
don't think, I think it's a self-simulation thing. Also, she's not vocal. So for non-vocal children for hitting, it's mostly just like stimulation and a need for attention. So you do those things.
How long is this shit gonna last is what I want the article to get to.
I did read a percentage of kids who do this pretty consistently. It's like 20%, which is pretty high for a single kind of behavior.
The head banging or the slapping?
The head banging. It's that 20% is pretty high.
It's so interesting that this is new. Or you know what else is new since we're talking about parenting stuff? She's getting a little picky on the eating. Like,
oh
what the
yeah,
hell is
she's
that?
like, I don't want this or that.
Yeah, this morning I made bananas, blueberries, and raspberries, and she only ate the bananas. I was like, not this BS.
Well, I also hear sometimes you just have to keep on reintroducing it. And by the way, you threw a blueberry at me as a joke, and then she picked it up and ate it off the floor. So just because she said no once, does it?
She likes
her and Gucci both.
Like she likes using the floor as a dipping sauce. I've discovered. If Wild doesn't like to eat something, just drop it on the floor.
She likes to eat on the run too. She'll like be eating and running at the same time, which is a choking hazard that I've read. So we need to like sit her down, and be like, okay, we're going to eat together as a family.
We got to get it together. If you out there has a toddler or had a toddler at one point and they had a head banging phase, please reach out to us and let us know how long that lasted.
Tell us your story and how you dealt with it.
Well, you were a headbanger.
Yeah, no.
Your mom told me that.
It was like but that was more 5-6 years old where
that was
I
more
was
16, 17.
It was an anger issue. So it was rooted in anger and frustration and like the inability to cope with the situation. So some sort of violent action was needed to deal with that like stress.
What was the situation?
Not getting my way. I remember a big one. I think Small Soldiers had just come out.
I remember that.
And I couldn't like watch it at my friend's house, and I just like smacked my head in the car on the way home and just was screaming and shouting, like going like ah! Like full exorcism, screaming. Oh my God.
Over Small Soldiers?
Shut up. It was a great fucking movie.
Was it? Let me go see what he got on Rotten.
I don't care on Rotten. Don't rottenize my childhood. That's what it calls when you love a film growing up and you thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And then you go on.
Ooh, 48%.
48% is pretty good.
You had a full
movie.
exorcism over a movie that got 48%. Well, did you get to see it eventually?
Yeah. I think I had already seen it. I just wanted to watch it again.
You did all this for a rewatch?
Yeah, it was a cool movie. I loved it.
I was just a big crybaby. I wasn't going to do no headbanging. I was just going to sob until I got my
definitely
way.
Put some holes in the wall.
Anyway, don't put holes in the wall. Let us know what we should do about our head-banging toddler. And that takes us to our next segment, I do's and don'ts. Ew. Okay, this is really fun, Ben.
Explain it. Yeah, what are we doing?
So, we've talked about being lovers on the internet or just being on the internet. We've talked about parenting. Now we're going to give a little bit of marriage advice. So, this is something that okay.
It's just funny. Like,
yes,
I'm giving you a marriage advice. Like, I don't know if this is going to even last.
Right. So we've been together for 8 years. We've been married for those 8 years. And we just celebrated our 4th wedding anniversary in Paris.
Hell yeah.
Where we got to go on dates like, if not every night, almost every other night. And it was amazing.
Really good food. So much great wine.
Yeah. Ben and I work together. We, create together. And we still enjoy hanging out together.
Sleep together.
We sleep together. I still enjoy hanging out with you. Yes,
I do.
So I think
you're a good time.
I think that we're qualified to answer marriage questions. Yeah. So can I read our first one?
Yep.
Here we go. Dear Amber and Ben, we've been dating 10 months. I'm going to keep this person anonymous, by the way. We've been dating 10 months, and it'll be around a year when we actually move in together. We're moving into a new house together, so it'll be a shared home from the start. I love my boyfriend. I believe he is the one. But the kicker, I haven't lived with another person in over 12 years. And I'm nervous. I'm going to get on his nerves. LOL, but so serious. I have a demanding job, and over the last several years, I could come home and do whatever, eat whatever, and leave the house in whatever state I wanted because it was just me, myself, and I. I'm excited to live with him, but I know it will be a lot of work for us. I'd appreciate any advice. Signed, Anonymous.
And I'm just going to call them Arthur for this.
Arthur.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Arthur, you're not going to be able to eat anytime you want anymore. You can't just leave the house anytime you want anymore. You're going to have to communicate what you're doing, right? Like you can't just be random anymore. And if you think you can do that, then you're not going to last. Like,
Goddamn.
yeah, because that's a roommate. If you want a roommate, then get a roommate. But if you want someone that you plan a life with, you got to communicate all that shit with.
So that would be the biggest piece of advice you would say to communicate.
Yeah, just everything, because I still don't do it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go on. Like, no, I'm going on a run. I got to tell Amber I'm going on a run. Not only do I got to tell her, I got to tell her probably how long I'm going to be. Is it a long run or is it a short run? Am I driving somewhere to run on a trail, or am I running around the neighborhood? So like all those, or am I running to a running club, meeting up with people and then getting drinks afterwards? Like all those things fall under the umbrella of running. And if I don't provide additional details on that, it's going to be confusing for Amber if she's expecting me to cook for her, if she's expecting me to help with the kid. So you got to communicate everything. That's the number one thing. Even like basic shit like, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. You don't say that. You go to the grocery store. Yeah, you're getting, food for everybody. You come back. This person was like, you know what? I really could have used Mucinex or Advil. And you didn't know that because you didn't tell them. So you got to communicate all this stuff. Yeah.
Well, even
you did look at the list, but they didn't realize it.
Right. Well, even just yesterday, we were not arguing, but getting clarification, because I'll ask Ben like, hey, did you take out the dog? And to that, he'll say yes. Now, let me be honest. My definition of did you take out the dog is, did you take the dog? Did he pee or poop? Once y'all came back, did you feed the dog water? And then in the food that the dog ate, did you sprinkle some CBD in that so that the dog can be calm? So
different definitions
of did you just take the dog out
for a very basic ask.
Right. So Ben told me, he's like, I need you to change your language to did you care for the dog? Because care for the dog encompasses all of the things.
Yeah, I'm taking that dog out, letting him pee, and then I'm running back in and getting back to like whatever I was doing.
And I'll come home and the dog's like, leash is still on. And I'm like, okay, I meant also put the leash away, Okay, I'm going to say a couple of things to you, Arthur. Arthur out there, 1, thank you for writing in. 2, I think you were doing an incredible job by finding a space to move into together and then moving in. I want to say that because that was one of our biggest hurdles when we first moved in together. When we did it the wrong way. Ben moved in with me.
Oh, yeah. They say we're moving into a new house.
New house.
One person's not moving into the other person's
yes.
spot. Yeah.
If I can, and if you're listening out there, I think one of the biggest mistakes in a relationship is if someone moves in with you. Okay. Because when someone moves in with you, you already know where all of your little things are, what spaces are yours, what state they're in.
The whole space is yours. So now you got to make space for this other person.
I'm saying, but you might have to give up shit that you don't want to give up. Right. Books go here, underwear goes there. And when somebody else moves in, they either have to put their stuff on top of yours or they have to find new spaces. And it just gets really...
And they have to readjust to the space that you already established instead of you discussing it and being comfortable together with that space.
So our first... I guess first year living together was pretty much a nightmare because I
don't remember it being that bad.
What?
I was having a good time.
Also you did 0 house chores. That's something I really, really wish that we talked about before you moved in.
I don't remember.
I would highly advise y'all, Arthur, listen to me, friend.
Yeah, it was a bad year, apparently.
It was, you remember you used to be like, I used to dread coming home.
Yeah, I would sit in the car and read for a little bit.
Right. I'm saying this. It was horrible because we did not talk. We did that whole love is blind in the pods conversation where we're just like, how many kids do you want? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? When in reality, the conversation should be like, are you a dish person? Are you a cooking person? Are you a laundry girl? Or are you a bathroom cleaner? I say establish all 80% to all of those tasks before you get into the house, especially now because obviously, for a good reason, gender roles are being, stretched and debunked and fuck you to gender roles and stuff, right? So you'll have these moments where you're like, okay, well, you're a dude, so I just assumed you were going to take out the trash, but you can't really assume stuff like that. You need
people role. Their roles need to exist, and they can't be assumed based on whatever identity that you have.
Right, because that was a big issue with the dog for a long time because Gucci, I came into the relationship with my dog. But then I'd be like, well, why would you not walk the dog at night? You're a man. I could be attacked out there. Like, isn't it obvious that you should be walking him at night? And Ben's kind of like, but that's your dog. Like, your dog knows you. So,
That sounds terrible. Yeah.
Well,
no,
at the
you're
beginning,
right.
I'm talking about in the beginning.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
In the beginning, for sure. So I definitely say like, good job. Like, check, gold star on finding a shared home together. But please, 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 as much as you can, find a communication system that works for y'all. Maybe it's Google Calendar, maybe it's safety words, whatever, so that you now know you have to communicate almost every action with somebody. Even if it's like, yo, I'm going to go downstairs and watch a show. You can watch it with me, or you got to say like, hey, Ben, I'm going to watch a show tonight. I want to watch it completely by myself, uninterrupted. Like, I've definitely come home and said to you, like, I need 1 hour of silence.
Yeah. TV is a huge thing. Like, are you going to watch every single TV show together or just a few together? And also the space, because both of you might want to watch the same different things at the same time. If you only have one TV, then you have to negotiate that. So, yeah.
Also, I'd recommend not sharing a closet.
Yeah, don't share a closet.
I know it kind of looks like the three of us share a closet, but I also have like a closet for my working out stuff. I have a closet for my dress up clothes now. And it's just so much better because sometimes you're like, I want to roll in my own filth a little bit.
Yeah. Man, that's tricky though, because it's definitely an access thing. Like if you
of course
have two closets, then
but even make a
go ahead
closet,
and like make your two closets separate and sort of cleanse your house like crazy, so that you have two separate spaces. But even if one person doesn't mind folded clothes, then like get a dresser, put everything inside the dresser if you have one closet and the other person gets the closet. Like, try to keep your personal shit like as separate as possible.
But Ben, even when we lived in a 1-bedroom together, we still found a way. Like, if you bought like a clothing rack, like my stuff can live on the rack.
Oh man, I remember you had that
drawer.
clothing
rack because I need
sitting
my
in the
stuff.
sunroom.
Like,
Man, that was
when I'm
cluttered.
But when I'm looking for my favorite purple top and I gotta like look through your Marvel underwear, I'm infuriated.
I am not hanging up my Marvel underwear next to your.
I'm talking like that's why I got the clothing rack because all of that stuff was lumped together.
God,
anyway,
I forgot you did have Amber bought like a clothing rack
I was
that you would
suffocating.
have from like a shopping store.
A lot of people have those in their home, Ben. Why are you acting like that's such a otherworldly thing? So here are the big three: establish chores prior to moving in, establish an effective system of communication, and what was the third? I just had it.
Something about chores and right.
No, I said the chores. I said the communication. I guess find spaces that are all yours.
Yeah, separate. Living together is being separated together.
Oh, and bonus, decide if y'all want the TV in the bedroom or not. That was a big...
Out of the bedroom. Never have the TV in your bedroom.
But some people like a TV in the bedroom. I like a TV in the bedroom, but I decided... I compromised with you, and now it's out of our bedroom.
Don't do it.
Anyway, we have another letter. Are you ready for letter number 2?
Yeah.
Letter number 2. I hope that helps, Arthur. Let me know how that goes. And let me know when y'all move in together. Letter number 2 says, Dear Amber and Ben, we've been together off and on for 3 years for several things, but it always boils down to spirituality. He says that it is his calling to become a pastor, and it requires certain things for me to accept once he gets to that point, once we're married. I'm South African, and in my family, we practice traditional ceremonies, and we recognize our ancestors, people who lived before us, like our great-grandparents and other family members, while still believing in God. That's their culture. He is the opposite. He doesn't believe in ancestors at all, and he expects me to abandon this belief once we get married. Apart from that, I'm going out more. I consume alcohol. I love it. Haha. So I go out from time to time after a long work week, and he states that clubbing is not for people in relationships, and I don't believe that at all. Not that I'm comparing, but I see many couples, even such as you has been, married with goals and enjoying life. So this person was essentially, I truncated this email a little bit. This person is essentially saying, like, I love this man, but some of our core values and like core belief systems are coming to a head. So should they like call it off? Should they just like try to work it out? What do you think? What say you?
This feels super. I know you love this person, but this just feels very easy for me. It sounds like this person is very controlling and closed-minded.
Be clear about which person.
So we'll say we'll call this person
Pastor Rev.
The pastor is closed-minded and it sounds a little controlling, and I just don't see that working out.
Yeah. Well, I think that this person really, if you've been someone who's been following us for a while, you know, or if you're new, you might know that Ben is an atheist now. He was raised really religious and has now ran the opposite direction.
I'm a Christian atheist.
Okay, explain to people what that means.
It means
that's confusing as fuck.
It means that I still identify as a Christian, sort of culturally, and I still find value in the Bible and church, but I don't believe in like God and the afterlife. So there we go. Yeah. Because some atheists are like super against religion. I'm like, no, okay, we can have it, but hopefully.
And I'm kind of
not
the
too
opposite. Like the church gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
But I still believe in God.
Yeah.
So I think this person is seeing a little bit of like, I see a dynamic between you two where one person believes in God and likes church, and one person, you know, one person doesn't believe in God and likes church, and one person doesn't like church but believes in God, and y'all make it work. So I see.
Well, I don't actually go to church. I find value in it.
Yeah.
But the big thing for me comes down to like someone requiring you to abandon
that's wild.
your beliefs.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, as far as like clubbing and stuff, anything like that's not for single people, is just for me that sounds like controlling.
Yeah, I agree.
Gucci didn't like that as well.
Well, you know what else? And this is interesting because, you know, obviously this is a heterosexual relationship and the male is becoming a pastor. The hard issue is that like when your male partner is becoming a pastor, it's not just like, oh, my husband's becoming a teacher. Oh, my husband's becoming a doctor or a lawyer. There is like certain duties and responsibilities that come with being the first lady of the church, the pastor's wife. Maybe you're running like auxiliary programs in the church. Maybe every other Sunday you're going up there to speak. Maybe you're managing things. You have to keep up appearances, and like, I'll be honest, like I've never been to a church where the first lady was out drinking and having fun. She should be. I would probably go to that church. But I think this person is also seeing like if there's a world where he could just become a pastor and I didn't have to be in the first lady role, maybe I would entertain it. But this expectation that you should abandon your beliefs and the ancestors and things like that is insanity to me.
Yeah, but it's also, that's American Christianity. I'm assuming this is an American Christian. She's South African, which is in South Africa and other religions, you can be Christian and still have like more an indigenous belief. But in sort of American Christianity, there's a tradition of like colonialization through evangelizing through Christianity. So I think that's a huge, like my dad was a pastor and my mom was a pastor's wife. And it sounds like in this situation, the pastor is going to be more in a traditional kind of church. And there's going to be the understanding that the wife is responsible for the children. And so how you raise your children is going to be sort of viewed very closely by the rest of the members in the church. Yeah. So, I mean, it's very, very difficult. Like you're going to be a pastor as well. In a way, you're going to be up there with your husband at points, maybe, you know, giving announcements or just, you know, sharing. It's going to be really, really difficult if you decide to go through with this. Yeah. Like, well, not difficult. You'll have to sacrifice a bunch of your own self and your own history.
I think it's hard because obviously in a marriage, there is a part of you that does have to grow, that does have to evolve. Like nobody can enter into any long-term relationship without changing some parts of who they are. But completely abandoning belief systems and one person completely changing for the other person is when it's like, okay, this isn't fair. Whereas obviously we were different people when we met each other, and I've learned tons from you. I hope you've learned some things from me. But this just feels like he's gonna get to be exactly who he wants to be. And it's funny because it's like your letter started with, he says it's his calling to become a pastor. It's like, Okay, is he even currently in the process of like finishing, what is it, seminary or whatever? Like, you're not even a pastor yet, and you're already asking me to make some changes, and you ain't even made the big change, which is to become the pastor. And a lot of, I've been watching a lot of religious cult movies lately and things like that. A lot of okay, help me say this. I think a pastor is more legitimized to lead a church once they have a wife.
Depending on
depending on the,
like Episcopalians, absolutely not. Like depending on the church, it's a huge like evangelical Christianity for sure.
But there's kind of this. It's kind of like a president.
Churches, sure, yeah.
Like what presidents haven't been married with a family?
Catholics,
they have.
No. If you're a Catholic, you become a priest, right?
Right.
That's just you still have pastoral duties.
Good.
So it just
catch me on that.
Yeah, it depends, but I think in this situation, 100%. Like it sounds like
this person is searching for someone to help him fulfill his full circle. So it feels like for this person, like any person in this role will do for him. Like his goal is to become a pastor, and he wants a more like submissive wife that's ready to be the first lady. I don't
know. I think he's looking for a very particular person. He's not looking for anybody. He's looking for a very particular person, and someone who's South African who still practices, reverence for ancestors, and someone who likes to go out and drink is not someone he's looking for. But it sounds like y'all have history, and you probably have really great things that you share together, but maybe that just needs to be in the past.
Leave them, break up with them. That's going to be the get out, whatever you need to do.
Or convince yourself that what he says is true and stop worshiping the ancestors or not revering the ancestors and stop drinking. Like that's your other option.
No, I don't think that's an option. Mm-hmm. Have you had alcohol? I'm talking to you.
Tonight, no, but I deserve some after dealing with this situation that we had today, where I need to talk about the next segment is Shelfie.
Yeah, get into it,
so
man.
I love books, so we're going to be talking about the media and books that we're consuming, and I love books. And Amber sort of hounded me today because I'm a book lover, and sometimes I don't have self-control with my book.
Is this
loving.
camera watching me? Is this camera looking at me right now?
Sometimes I'm a little bit, too thirsty on my book loving.
Ben, break it down for those of you who
I checked out a bunch of books and I didn't return
over the course of how many months?
I don't know, a year, and I didn't return.
We haven't even been here a year. We moved to LA in October, and it's June, so almost a year.
So I check out these books and they're overdue, but they were overdue too many times, so they charged me for them, and then they sent a bill to. They sent me a bill from collections saying you need to return these books or this is going to affect your credit score. That's insane.
Library fees affecting your credit score.
That's crazy.
And how much was our grand total, Ben?
I think it was like $260 or something. I don't know. It was over $200. But I returned all the books except for one. And
where's the one?
It's in the car. I'm going to return it tomorrow. Don't worry. And I got a bunch of new books.
But you still have to pay the fees once you return them?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 100%.
Then why would they send us to collections?
Because they want their books back.
Who takes care of that money, though?
The library. The library uses those funds to replace the books that I still have with me.
You don't think you sound a little bit absurd?
I sound absurd. Okay, but let's get into Shelfie, because
I don't want to hear about what you're reading or watching because it's charging me money and
potentially
it's not. Affecting my credit score.
Charge you money.
Okay, this segment is really here to exist because the reality is that Ben and I do too much shit together. It's too much.
Too much.
We parent together. We content create together.
Now
we're doing a podcast together. So this is the one segment where we're basically saying, like, what's on your shelfie? What are you doing separately from me in your life? What are you reading and what are you watching separately from me? Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I'm playing this game called Red Dead Redemption, and it is so powerful. It's such a powerful game. I'm sort of emotionally shattered right now because I got to a part of the game where there's a radical shift in the game, and I'm just been wandering around because I don't want to continue the game anymore. And it is so intense. And like, it's that you're playing at the turn of the century. It's been like, maybe 20 years since the Civil War, and it's all very accurate. So you like go hunting and you're playing with it as a gang, and you have to make decisions that are either going to make you evil or good, and you have to deal with living with people, and the story's already set, but you're playing this character, Arthur Morgan. He's just a very down-to-earth kind of guy.
Oh, that's
It's
why
so
our
much
character
fun.
earlier was named Arthur.
Yeah, it's been all in my head.
I said, you were like, let's name the user Arthur. I was like, we don't have to name them. They can just, no, Arthur.
It's a very realistic game. At one point, like, you catch tuberculosis. At another point, you see like a clan meeting.
They don't have vaccines in the game?
No, there are vaccines. The military at one point stops vaccines from getting to a reservation of Native Americans, and then you have to go get the vaccines. I mean, it's a very
You stumbled upon a Klan meeting?
Yeah,
Was it scary?
I threw a stick of dynamite and then shot them all up.
Oh,
And at one point, you're in a city.
You motherfucking better.
Yeah, at one point you're in a city. And you can make decisions in the city to like shoot people, but then the cops come after you, and then you have to pay a fine to get back in. Anyway, and so I come up to this guy. This guy is like giving a sermon, because you oftentimes run into preachers talking about preachers, and they'll give sermons about like the knives here, repent, blah blah blah. But occasionally someone will be trying to sell you snake oil or whatever. So this one guy is saying, we must stop integration. We must stop, God made the species different. He doesn't want a rabbit to have sex with a snake, and the same thing we should have. And so he says like, basically racist ideology. And he's basically employing free speech, but I went up and shot him in the head because I didn't like what he said.
I'm glad. Yeah, thank you for your activism, Ben.
Yeah, within the game.
In the game. Anyway,
what are you doing, Amber?
I know, right? So I'm so excited because today you'll be listening to this on June 7th, which is great. So if you're listening to this on June 7th, that means that new episodes of The Ultimatum Queer Love have dropped on Netflix. It's so good. First of all, 53 minutes into the show. Happy Pride Month. Second of all, so this show is basically like everything we love about, the franchises of like Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, The Ultimatum, but it's the first time, to my knowledge, that there's been a queer version. So it's mostly like lesbians and non-binary people. And it's just so good. Like, I mean, it's all of the stereotypes of lesbians in a lot of ways. It's just like falling hard very fast and things like that, and we love it. And there's some very attractive women on this show.
Which is so funny. That's a stereotype, because Love is Blind is
it's all of that.
Extreme people fall in love
very fast,
very quick. So
yeah, but it's really so tomorrow is going to be like what decisions are made. So the big thing for those of you watching, the big decision that needs to be made right now is so Yoli and Mal were a couple, right? Yoli and Mal. And
sorry, I was yawning.
And now Yoli is potentially in love with this other person named Xander. And so we're gonna find out tomorrow if Yoli chooses, her lover of 3 years, Mal, or her new trial partner, Xander. I'm stumbling because I'm pretty sure
the
Xander.
ultimatum.
I'm pretty sure Xander is non-binary.
Know.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, what is the ultimatum?
Okay, so let's say Ben and
let me go open a bottle of wine.
So let's say Ben and I are dating, right? And Ben won't commit to me. He won't act right, and I want to be married and he doesn't. So we're going to go to this show called The Ultimatum, where I'm saying like, all right, for 3 weeks we're going to date somebody else. And
I'm going to do like they do with the show. Say, I'm giving you
an ultimatum, Ben. For 3 weeks you can date somebody else and have a trial partner. And then we can get back together for 3 weeks, and then you have to decide if you want to. You have 3 decisions. You have 3 decisions. We either leave this show engaged, and you met my ultimatum. You can either go be with the person you did a trial with, or you can leave alone.
Yeah, that is 3. Those would be the 3 options. Have I watched more episodes than I'm willing to admit? Yes.
Yes, it's so good. It's so fun. Okay. And
you came into bed she came into bed one night. I was like, I think it was like 1 a.m. She watched like 6 or 7.
So there's one
We're
cringe,
still jet lagged. That's how you spent your jet lag.
there's one cringe queen, Vanessa. She's just fucking insufferable. So she's Xander's partner, okay? So Vanessa is essentially like, doesn't even really want to be married, is emotionally manipulative to Xander, and now is acting like she's gung-ho for Xander because she knows that Xander might be with Yoli. And then there's Aussie, okay? Aussie is just like a 42-year-old baby. Every time a conversation gets hard between Aussie and Aussie's partner, Aussie just leaves the room. They're 100% avoidant. I don't understand it. I wouldn't say, because you're not avoidant.
No.
But you have a touch of the Aussie of like, I don't want to talk about this right this moment.
Yeah, right place. Amber's like, I'm talking about this right now. I'm
We
like,
talking
but
about it right now, bitch.
We're paragliding, Amber. I don't want to talk about this right now.
No,
we're parachuting right now.
Lower us. We need to talk about this shit right now. Turn the boat around. We talking about it right now.
We're about to go deep sea diving. You want to
pull the
talk about
divers
the
up.
dishes now?
I do. And you're kind of like, please, if I can avoid this until the
Put a
last possible
pin on
second, I'm gonna. Ben likes to sometimes wait till I forget about something, which I never do. Is that true or false?
I don't know. It depends. I don't know. No, I'm not thinking that, not consciously at least.
Anyway, okay, so I'm watching Ultimatum Queer Love. Let's all watch that together tonight because it comes out tonight. Last thing, I'm also reading this book called In Love by Amy Bloom. It's a book about your right to die, essentially. The husband in the story has a terminal illness, which is Alzheimer's. And so there is this place in Switzerland called Dignitas, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And at Dignitas, you can basically, obviously you have to go to like several sessions with them, but Dignitas, which is a real place that exists, is a place where you can say like, I no longer want to live. Here are the reasons why I'm gonna die. I am dying, and I don't want my family to have to suffer through this illness. So I'm consenting to drink this potion that will kill me. So it's like legal suicide essentially. And so Amy Bloom is the wife of the husband who has agreed to do this. So he, not to spoil, but you'll know, like the whole book is about his final days and their decision to do this. Is that spoiling?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't want to be like, and he does it, but the book is about
it's about leading up to that. Yeah.
Yes, and so, I mean, you know me, you call this my trauma porn.
Away.
Yes, but it's so thought provoking about like a woman watching the person that she once loved just slowly become less of themselves, deteriorate
and mentally.
Yes, and she's like, she's finding his library books that he didn't return and all of these things. And
I'm not deteriorating, Amber. I'm totally fine.
You could be.
I guess we're all deteriorating in one way or another.
Anyway, I think that's our show, right?
That's
Ben?
our show, y'all.
Thank you for listening to our first episode of Fly on the Wallin. To quickly recap, let us know how you feel about Chica. Let us know how you feel about toddler headbanging. And, if you're moving in with a lover, hopefully that advice was helpful.
And then if you want to hear some advice from us, be sure to please. DM Amber.
Yes.
Send her an Instagram
message.
She does read them all. Is it good for her mental health? No, but she does read Instagram messages, like for real. She just 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I wonder why. Maybe
people are being really kind in the messages.
Yeah, no, their messages are great. But she does really try to read all of them to be, respectful and kind.
But if you do have relationship advice, dating advice, marriage advice, or that you would like requests, please just say like, Dear Amber and Ben, set the scene, and then we would do our best to answer that on the show. Because I know a lot of you are saying like, no, we want to know about y'all. Like, which in-law is the most racist? I'm like, no, I wouldn't marry you if there was like a violently racist in-law. Yeah.
Is it Judy or Gary?
No, it's not.
Those are my parents.
I love your parents. We're answering questions to help y'all. Y'all know everything about our lives. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to Fly on the Wallin, and we will see y'all next week for the show.
Bye. Fly.